Ho ho hello and welcome to episode 32 of Arcadiology, where we dig up your favorite arcade relics. My name is Jordan Claus and I'm here with my three favorite elves the North Pole has ever seen, the Wiggin brothers. Mr. Brad Wiggin,
What up?
Mr. Sky Wiggin,
Hi there.
and what you know about Mr. Kyle Wiggin.
Oh, dudes.
So, not bad, not bad. Merry Christmas to everybody. Brad, did you say this comes out like the day before or the day after? It was one of those two, right?
I believe before. Yeah, this should be
So,
going up on the 24th. So yeah, Christmas Eve. So
Christmas
a
Eve. So
very Merry Christmas indeed.
we have good timing with the releases of these holiday episodes.
Yeah, they're lining up nice for us.
I like that. I like that. So, tell me, boys, Christmas is it's around the corner. You guys all excited for it?
I don't know if excited. I don't ever really get excited for holidays anymore. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
cool. The only thing I like nowadays is just like getting everyone together and hanging out. Other than that, I could care
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
I mean, my job has just ruined Christmas time for me, dude, completely. It's miserable.
Yeah, I could imagine, dude. That's
I'm
rough.
sure Brad can relate.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good this year so far. So I'm not in your position yet. So far, I'm making out pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah, I am not making out well at all, but we don't have to talk about that. Let's talk instead about some video games. So, boys, what you been playing?
This game I've been playing, it's another 2D platformer. It's called Pizza Tower. Actually, maybe about a month or so by now. Jordan, you were over here. You saw me playing it for like 30 seconds, but it's a little 2D side-scrolling platformer. It has like 90s looking cartoon graphics to
I
it.
think I saw the Game Grumps play that. I think I watched a
Okay.
video of them playing it for a little bit, but I was like, this is weird. I don't like it.
It's really weird, yeah. It's really fun though. When I first heard about it, I don't know why. I just heard the name Pizza Tower. For some reason, I thought it was like a puzzle game or something like that, but it's not what it is at all. It takes a lot of inspiration from the Wario Land games. I don't know if you guys ever played those.
I don't think
Familiar,
so.
but haven't played them.
I don't know. It's like super animated looking stuff. Like you'll punch, like his fist gets real big. Like I think it's kind of like some Warriors animations, or think of like Battletoads stuff like that.
Yeah,
Or
it's like his Smash Brothers Smash too.
yep, just like that. The way he like attacks and stuff. But I don't know. It's like super fast paced. Like your character starts running. Like he has like three, I guess, like notches of speed. When you go real fast, you're just like smashing through like these brick walls and stuff. And just like the more you run, the faster you go. And it almost feels like you're running as fast as Sonic, but it kind of plays like a Wario game or maybe like a Mario a little bit. But yeah, there's like different power ups you get that like temporarily change like what you can do. You'll like get this armor, so you're like real heavy, so you can smash stuff. There's another one turns you into a ghost, so you can like float through certain sections. There's a bunch of different power ups, but the general gameplay, you're just kind of most of the time I'm just holding in run and just smashing through enemies and walls and stuff like that. And then you'll get to the end of the stage, and then there's like this giant like stone looking, kind of like the Flomp thing from Mario, something like that a little bit. Once you get to him, and then like a timer starts counting down, then you have to just run full speed back to the beginning of the stage where you started before he runs into you, and that's how you lose. Like the whole time getting to him, you can like take damage, but I don't think you actually die. It just like lowers like your score rating for that stage or whatever. The only time you actually lose is whenever you get to the end and you get caught by him trying to get your way back. So it's you don't take like the identical path back. There's like different sections that unlock, so there's a little bit of variation on your way back. But that's like where the difficulty is, just trying to run back full speed while this guy's trying to chase you. Reminds me of like a
Ugh.
cartoony sequence where it's like you just like cruising around, it's like and as you're like screeching across the ground and stuff like that, and his feet spin real fast like it does in the cartoons. It looks like a giant wheel, and he just starts cruising. But it's a really fun game. It flows real nice. There's even some pretty interesting boss battles. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a really fun game.
Okay,
And what was the name of this?
It's called Pizza Tower.
Pizza Tower. Okay.
it's an interesting one.
I'm close to the end of it, but I actually don't know if we end up finishing it just because it's kind of there's an annoying thing where you got to like get collectibles through the stages. I mean, they're kind of collectibles, like you're rescuing stuff. But you don't have to do it to beat the stage, but to get to the boss, you have had to have collected so many from each stage to unlock the boss. So I got to the very end boss, and it's like I'm short. I have to go back and collect like multiple different ones. I'm like, kind of asking too much of me right now, but maybe I'll come back to it. But so far, I'm right at the end. I just don't know if I'm going to finish it out, unfortunately.
So you wait, if you don't have enough things to get to the boss, like you don't have to like restart the whole thing, right? You just can go back and select the different stages.
Yeah, you can, but it's kind of weird. It doesn't like if you go into the stage, it doesn't tell you which one you're missing. So there's like 5
Oh
collectibles in
God.
each stage.
Okay.
Yeah, they're called ingredients. That's like it's like the whole pizza theme.
Sure.
You got to collect the little ingredients. There's little cages, but yeah, I don't know which ones I'm missing. It's probably not that hard to do, but it's kind of tedious to go back through and figure out which ones I need to get. It makes it a little annoying.
I wouldn't mind having to go back and get them, but like, tell me where they are at least. Like,
Yeah,
what
if I knew
stage is it, dude?
exactly where it was, it wouldn't be so bad. But other than that, a little bit more Pokemon Pocket. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Well, I've still been hooked on Project Zomboid. Skylar and I have been playing it pretty much every night we're off work. We hop on for a little while. I'm not going to drag it out, dude. It's been out since 2013. Everybody knows about it. But I will say, guys, leave things in the comments of any mods for Project Zomboid that like your favorite mods for the game, or any mods that like you think we should try. Just keep in mind that like we mostly play with quality of life stuff because we don't really want to like make the game easier. We just want to make the game make more sense. But yeah, that's it from us.
Yeah, Project Zomboid with Kyle, and a little bit of Pokemon Pocket since Brad got me into a little bit talking about
Yeah.
it. I've been playing that a lot. I mean, kind of sucked starting out, obviously, because I got terrible pulls in the beginning. So like I was just getting wrecked by all the solo content. The other day or 2 days ago, I had all those like points saved up that you get from like opening packs, and like all the hourglasses, completing challenges, and all that. So I finally started using all those, and now I'm doing pretty decent now. I got all the content finished, the event thing done, and I'm trying some online battles, which kind of suck because it's all Pikachu and Mewtwo all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm already annoyed with the online battles. Like,
Yeah, the meta gets old pretty quick.
yeah, I'm just trying to make random decks, just throwing random things together, trying like status effect decks and all that, just having fun with it. That and Project Zomboid with Kyle, which we've been playing a crap ton of that. So,
So both the games me and Kyle talked about last week, you hopped in and played, huh?
yep, picked them both up.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, I don't think we're gonna be talking about a whole lot new here this episode, boys. You're doing the same stuff. I'm doing the same stuff. You guys, I mean, you know what I'm playing. I suck myself into Radiant Dawn, but I mean, not even a whole lot because of how busy work's been. I've barely been able to touch my Steam Deck, but if I can, I've kind of just been going right for Radiant Dawn. I will say I remember talking on the last episode about you guys were asking like, yeah, is this something like people do even? And I'm like, no, not necessarily, because there are a lot of characters that many would consider bad, mostly because some of them really need a good bit of babying to actually get to a point where they're relevant. So on this playthrough, for anyone who's played this game before, they'll know the character I'm talking about. But this playthrough, I'm trying to use a character named Vika, and the problem with Vika is she's a great unit when you're using her. The issue with her is her availability in the game. So you get her for I don't know how many chapters are in the game or fights. They're called chapters. I want to say maybe roughly around like 30-ish or so. You get her for about 2 or 3 chapters at the beginning of the game, and then you get her again you don't see her at all until the very end of the game for like 2 or 3 more chapters, and then that's it. So you really can't level her up at all. By the time you get her back, she's pathetic. So right now I'm doing all the babying I'm talking about, and I've just been doing like boss grinding with her. And let's just say that I learned just the other day that so it tells you on the side of the screen how many turns into the fight you are. And let's just say I learned the other day that there is a cap to that at 999 turns. So that's how that's going for me.
Oh God.
Wow,
What?
man.
I went well past that because she's like a special unit who gains experience extremely slowly. And the problem is the boss that I have to grind against to level her up, she leaves him with 1 hit point every time she attacks him, but he only regains 3 HP each turn. So I have to let enough turns go by for him to go from 1 HP back up to his max of 38 HP at just 3 HP per turn. And then I attack again, get like 3 experience points, and just rinse, lather, repeat. This is the only way to make her viable in the game at all. It's a nightmare.
That's some dedication, dude.
Dude, it's I knew I wasn't gonna be looking forward to using her, but here we are, man.
Is this the last one then?
No, I've at
No.
least one more after that.
Okay.
I have one more after that, unless I want to do like one more bonus one just to kind of reuse the characters I wasn't quite satisfied with, or maybe didn't get to the level cap or something. But I'm never gonna use her again. I mean, once I finish it with her, that's done. That's out of here.
Remember Kyle talking about Ghosts and Goblins said it takes a certain kind of person. I think Jordan's a certain kind of person here.
He might be the
I'm
person.
certain.
Dude.
He might be the person.
A certain kind of person with this game, I guess, man. I'm just gonna be so happy whenever it's all
For
done.
all we know, he might be the only person.
Yeah, I definitely might be the only person. I mean, there's people out there who have used this character because I definitely Googled some strategies and tips to raise her a little bit better, and there's really nothing. I mean, there's a little bit of a way to kind of do it a little easier whenever you get her back in your party at the end of the game, but problem is if I don't get her usable right now at this point, she's just gonna die at that point in the game anyway, so I gotta do something for 999 asterisk turns. So that's about where I'm at. That's all I've played in the very tiny amount of free time I have lately. So, anything else, boys?
I don't think so.
I'm ready to get into it.
Cool, cool, cool. If we're all ready to go, let's go ahead and dig up some Too Crude. Too Crude is a 1990 side-scrolling beat-em-up released by Data East. You take control of one of two mercenaries called Too Crude, hired by the American government to stop the terrorist organization called Big Valley, after they've taken over New York City after a nuclear explosion that occurred in 2010. Apparently, Data East thought the future was going to be a little more bleak than it actually was, because I do not remember that explosion happening.
We made out a little better, I guess.
We did a little better. Yeah, I mean, this is, man, as far as beat 'em ups go, this is a very, very simple and basic beat 'em up kind of gameplay. You got your jump button. He doesn't jump very high, but he jumps. You got just your standard attack button, which is just a little punch or a kick. But then one of the more kind of unique parts is that there's a button that lets you pick up and also throw objects or enemies, which is, that's a very common thing. It's probably often your best course of action. It seems to do the most damage. And I'll tell you, there is very few things in this game as satisfying as picking up an enemy and just using them as a human cannonball to throw at the other enemies.
It's the highlight of this game for sure, just picking people up and throwing them around at each other.
For sure.
Wait, did we miss the fact that you can dodge roll?
You can, yeah. I did that a little bit in a few of the boss fights. I think, unless I was just doing it, like, kind of weird, I think you have to hold in the directional, like the D-pad or the joystick diagonally, like down and diagonal at the same time, and press the jump button and he rolls. Is that correct? That's how I did it, at
pretty
least.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't do it a lot, but I did it here and there, especially for boss fights once I kind of figured out how to do it. You seemed pretty happy that there was a dodge roll. Is that a thing for you?
Oh no, I just thought you were mentioning the controls, and it sounded like you were wrapping that up without mentioning the dodge roll. So I didn't know if you guys
Okay.
knew there was a dodge roll.
I didn't know if I thought it was quite important enough to toss in there.
But I will say, since we're talking about the controls, the pickup, like items and guys and whatever it was, I don't know if I didn't know what button it was or if it wasn't bound correctly to my controller, but I didn't pick up a single thing on this
Oh
game.
no!
No, you're lying to me. Did you?
That's
You knew
no
you
joke.
do it though, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, everything's flashing on the screen. It says pick up, and I just couldn't pick them up.
He's just
Couldn't
never
do it.
picked it up.
I played the whole game with not picking up anything.
You never tried to like remap your controls or anything?
Nope, there's no time.
Oh, this had to have been
There's no
awful.
time.
What time?
There's no
Dude,
time.
we
Didn't you
started
see the bomb
recording
go
an
off?
hour and a half later than usual. What happened?
Jordan,
Oh,
all of
man.
New York City needed my help. Like I don't have time to remap my buttons.
I get it, but
And that was half the fun of
Wow.
the game. Probably more than half the fun of the game, picking stuff up and throwing it.
absolutely,
Kyle doesn't even lift, bro.
it does way more damage too. Oh
Dude,
man,
I played hard difficulty.
you really did. Not even on purpose.
That playthrough sounded like it might have been too crude.
Dude, it was.
Oh my god, we're starting with that already.
So the
Here we
number
go.
section should
Get
get
it-
fun.
get it out
but
of the
we'll
way.
see.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I think my winning streak of numbers is going to come to an end this time, but hopefully I at least beat you, because I'm going to feel pretty bad if I didn't.
Also, the guy that didn't throw anything.
What?
I've been surprised, but wait, did you say you didn't either?
No, wait, what? No, I threw all kinds of stuff. I was throwing everything.
Oh, okay. I think I
everything.
misheard.
I thought he said I'm also a guy who didn't throw anything.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
what I
"There's no
thought
way
I
Brad didn't
heard.
throw anything. Come on.
Sky's reaction to that is what made me think, like, wait, did he say he didn't do it too?
Yeah, I must have heard that wrong too.
Fair enough. I was going
Well,
to
the
say,
one thing
my
you said
God.
about the jumping, how low he jumps, he does jump super low, but if there's a platform above you, he can jump the height of the screen. So whenever you said that at
Yes.
first, I was like, I thought he jumped super high, but I guess it's situational. But yeah, there's like
Yeah.
ladders that you can climb up. And there's like no point because you can just hold it up and jump to the top of the screen and just get on top of like everything.
Yeah, so if there's a platform, you can jump up and down through the platforms. There you go, Sky, by using the jump button, and he'll jump high enough for that. But then if you're just kind of jumping in place, like whether it's to maybe avoid an attack or just you're just jumping because you enjoy jumping, this man has no hops. White men can't jump. It's a very small, short hop. His melee attacks are pretty small too. Like, so I'm sure Kyle had a great time not throwing anything because those punches and kicks, they don't got much range to them. I feel very bad for Kyle.
Well, actually, he would have at least picked up the very first object because the way the game starts, the dude just comes right out the gate and just picks up a car. So that's how the game
Yeah.
opens.
It picked it
That's
up
the
for
only
me.
thing.
After that, dude, that was it.
Yeah, that was the end of it.
He held on to that car the rest of the game.
I couldn't throw it, so I held the car the whole time, just kicking people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess picking up that car at the start, like I said, it's just their way of kind of showing you that you can do this. But wait, well, hold on though. So you have to press the throw button though to throw the car, don't you? So what did you do, Kyle? Did you not?
Well, what's
had
the
to
throw
throw the
button? Is
car.
it just the attack button?
No, it's its own button.
Yeah, it's different. The pick up and throw button are the same thing though.
Well, when you get hit, you drop whatever you're holding. If it's like a car, I believe. So you probably just got hit and dropped
Yeah.
it, or you just never got hit the whole game and held it till the end.
Dude just one
They just
CC.
one-coined it.
One CC without picking stuff up.
Incredible. I mean, it's very easy to walk past an item you can pick up and throw because I mean, they're everywhere. And sometimes they kind of just really blend into the background and you don't even notice cuz I think Kyle said, I mean, sometimes it will pop up there and say like, "Hey, pick this up," but you can't it doesn't always do it. So I'll walk past things all the time that I could have picked up and used.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff at your disposal. I was just trying to get everything I could, and I'd carry something like to the edge where there's a couple more things behind me, and like throw it at one of like the bigger enemies that are a little bit harder to kill. Then go back and grab the other item because it's like you said, you pretty much always want to throw stuff if you want to maximize damage and kind of stay safe.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of the enemies, are there any enemies you guys want to talk about in specific, whether you liked them or hated them? I'll say with this game, this was one where your strategy for a lot of the enemies and bosses didn't feel like it really changed a whole lot. I mean, we've played a lot of games where you got to fight different enemies very differently. This one wasn't quite to that same extent. It kind of felt like everything was obviously they look different, but you kind of fought them all the same way. But are there any enemies you guys that stood out to you guys at all?
If we're excluding bosses, right, for now?
Yeah, exclude
let's
the
do that.
bosses for now, just the standard enemies. I want to talk about the bosses separate. I got some good stuff for them.
Just like those bigger dudes that like I don't even know how to describe them. It's like a standard enemy, but they kind of take a lot to kill.
I mean, I already know
Big,
what you're
like-
talking about.
Andre the Giant guys.
And the wrestling singlets.
Yeah, with like the metal boots and like the one piece yellow looking shirt thing. Yeah, those guys are tough if you don't have a weapon. Like they like jump in the air and just kind of like hit you a ton of times on the way back down. They were kind of annoying if you didn't have a weapon. So I always made sure to grab something. Like especially the throwing weapons are good, but like some of the stuff you can pull out and just like use it as like a bat basically and just swing it over your head. I always wanted to approach those dudes with one of that, or they'd kind of beat me up a little bit.
Yeah. Those were my favorite weapons too. The ones you didn't have to throw. You could kind of just use them as a blunt weapon, like a street sign or a post or something.
Well, coming from the guy that never used a weapon, I agree. Those guys were the worst.
Yeah.
Rough.
They took a lot of hits. I eventually had to adopt the strategy. I didn't know how to dodge roll. I didn't know you could until like a couple stages in, and then I did it by accident. And then once I could do that, I had to adopt a strategy of like doing like a jump kick into the big guy, and then I would crouch, hit him like once or twice, and then I have to dodge roll away from him before he like retaliated and grabbed me. So I had to do like a cool little like jump kick, dodge away, rinse and repeat strategy for those guys.
Yeah. The jump kick was definitely my favorite way of attacking if you didn't have a weapon. That was like how I fought pretty much every boss, was just spamming that jump kick. But yeah, those fat guys, I always tried to use a weapon for them. I almost never went hand to hand with them. I just saw them on the screen and immediately it was, well, go find something to chuck at them. Any other enemies that stand out?
I don't know about any in specific, but like just any kind of group that would get on you if you didn't take them out fast enough. Like I died so many times just like getting stun locked in like a group of enemies holding me there and stuff.
Yeah, like the ones that would grab you, you have to wiggle the joystick, and there's like 6 of them lined up. As
God.
soon as you get out of one, another one grabs you again. That sucks.
Yes, that's the
Like any
worst
group
part.
of like 4 or 5 of anything, I'm like, oh, here goes my life.
Yeah, I really wanted to talk about that part Brad said. That was one of the most aggravating things of this game, is there are specific enemies who can latch onto you, and if they do, you gotta wiggle the joystick. Now, the problem is there are specific spots in this game, especially there's like an elevator in one of the later stages where they just throw a bunch of these enemies at you. Problem is, one of them will latch onto you, and then all the other ones will line up to prepare to do the exact same thing. And as soon as you shake one loose, the very next one will do the exact same thing. And you'll just be there forever. It's awful.
Was it the blue like little ninja guys? Are those the ones that
There's a
latched on?
few. There's a few. There was like the really generic enemies that like wore like the brownish reddish color. They did it. There was like the little short like fat dudes that rolled around. They would do it. I
think the dogs did it
the
too.
blue ones did.
Oh yeah, the dogs definitely do. But yeah, I remember the blue ninja guys being a little tricky sometimes to fight too, just because they would like
Yeah.
they would actually combo you and like piece you up pretty good.
Yeah, and they would climb on the walls away from you too. And I think typically, at least it seemed to me, like if an enemy was on the wall, you couldn't hit them. But I could have just been playing that poorly too. I don't know.
I feel like I was playing WrestleFest.
Yeah, I think it was like a weird.
No.
They had like a weird hitbox when they were on the wall. Like I think you could hit them, but you might have had to hit them like in the head or something weird. Like if you hit their body, it wasn't counting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can I say what my favorite enemy was?
Please.
Who is it?
I think it was the guy that sits on the wall and throws grenades. He actually helped me out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the grenades hurt the enemies too, don't they?
I think one of those big guys, I got it to a point on my screen, I forget what level it was, but one of those grenade guys were hanging on the wall just chucking them, and one of those big giant guys were like right underneath him, and I didn't have a weapon. So I literally just stood in place, and he just killed the guy for me in like a minute. I just sat there and let him take his buddy out.
I think I had that exact scenario before.
I just love how whenever you like defeat the enemies, like even like little guys, they just go flying like on a diagonal off the
Yeah.
screen. Like you hit them, they just get launched into the existence. They're
Oh,
just
yeah.
gone.
I'm done with him. Get him out of here.
Yeah, dude.
Boing!
Like an old school like Halo ragdoll.
Yeah. This game has a real like, yeah, it's somewhat of like a comic book thing going on with it, like the visuals, like how it says like wham, bam, and stuff like that when you hit the enemies.
It kind of reminded me of Comic Zone.
Comic Zone? Okay, I was gonna say the Punisher that we played. A little bit like that
Punisher
too.
too. Yeah, they're all like that similar style there.
A primitive version of the Punisher, because this is a beat 'em up, but it's not like normally when I think of beat 'em up, you like have like depth to your movement, like you can move up and down the screen. This one's just straight left to right, and you can jump up on the platform. So I'm sure there's other games like that, probably some of the older ones, but I traditionally think of beat 'em ups that like go like up and down like that as well.
Yeah, like Battletoads, Streets of Rage, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Turtles.
Turtles.
Turtles. I think my least favorite normal enemy was the shirtless dudes who throw stuff at you, because you can't really jump quite high enough to jump over the projectiles. So if you don't have a weapon to throw at them, you kind of just got to get to them really quick. You see them pretty early in the game too.
That throw like the little like discs at you.
Yeah.
I think you can punch those, can't you?
I think you can, but I don't want to try to time that perfectly every time.
Yeah,
You can
true.
even catch them. Like you can throw them back at them. I did it on accident once.
That timing sounds even harder.
That does
Yeah.
sounds cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of a cop-out answer as well, but I will say that this game is really, really bad with reusing like the bosses and mini bosses and kind of just turning them like the mini bosses more or less and just turning them into standard enemies and later stages. So I mean, if you're going to say like the hardest standard enemies, I mean it's kind of those. It's just the reused mini bosses like the flamethrower guys and the cyborg dudes and
Oh, those like karate master guys. I think they show up the first time you see them. There's two of them or something. Or no, there's only one of them.
I like the bald guy who struts onto the screen like he's in West Side Story, just like snapping at you as he's walking towards you. You know who
Oh,
I mean?
that might be the guy I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Maybe.
He's all
Maybe
casual,
good.
walking up, just snapping his fingers.
Yeah, because I remember fighting him, and then like I fight him again later, and I like it tricked me because I thought like this was the boss, and then after I like beat him up for a while, I realized there was no like when you fight the bosses, they have like an enemy health bar at the bottom. But I was like halfway through beating this guy up, and I realized there was no health bar, and I was like, oh man, this isn't even the guy, dude.
Yeah, it'll trick you. Was that all? Kind of all we want to say about the normal enemies? Then we want to hop into bosses.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about was how we're talking about picking stuff up. I like how there's like some of like the heavier objects where you have to like keep on spamming the pickup button or like drop it back down. I think it was like a tank or something you had to do that too.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Like if you got to keep on hitting it, and if you let it go, it's gonna start it back over and fall to the ground. And there was one that you can pick up that actually has people still in it, so that's pretty cool. Whenever you can pick up the vehicles that they're still driving in and throw them at the other enemies.
I mean, if I was one of those guys and I saw this dude picking a tank up, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm out.
Like, yeah, there's plenty of other guys that can do all this evil, bad stuff. I'm out of here, dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna try to throw a frisbee at him.
I wonder if he can catch this. Oh, well, he's holding a tank right now, so.
All right, well, let's talk about the bosses a little bit here. And as I said, the strategy for fighting the bosses in this game doesn't really differ a whole lot. There's not anything super unique to them other than their appearance. But I made nice little names for each of them because I don't know if they have actual names. So speaking of WrestleFest and Turtles, those are both going to be in here.
I know what your first boss name's going to be.
Jake the Snake Roberts, of course, was the first boss.
Yes.
Then stage two, we have the Fabio werewolf. Then we have Wannabe Rocksteady. We have the Deformed Scyther, the guy I like to call Spider Machamp, if you're a Pokemon fan. And then finishing off the game with the little old evil goat dude. So, what bosses do you boys want to talk about? Like I said, there's not much in a difference in strategy. It's more so just kind of appearance for the most part, I think.
For the goat guy, can we slap the name Garbad on that?
Garbad.
Should I know what that
second the
is?
Garbad.
Please, can we do that, Jordan?
Should I know what that is?
You probably don't.
You don't
but
need
should.
to, but it's okay.
Diablo
Okay,
reference.
that's fine.
So, you know,
I'll take your word for it, man. We can call him Garbad then. That's
Yes.
the final boss of the
It's
game, I guess.
official.
I kind of disagree at the bosses though. I feel like there was a lot of variety, at least in their attack patterns. Like everyone kind of did something different. Like the snake guy spawned little snakes. There was like that armadillo guy that bounced around the screen. There was the one guy that throws his head at you. The other one like extends his arms. You got to duck it. So the focus of kind of a lot of variety in the actual battles.
They do have different attack patterns and whatnot. I just feel like I fought them all exactly the same. It was just kind of every boss battle for me was kind of just move away, jump kick, and then move away again. That's kind of how I got through all of them.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I think I agree. I like half agree. I think that the first like 2 or 3 bosses, I felt that exact same way. This game has, at least for most of the bosses, it felt like there's a hit stun. So when you hit the bosses, like it like pushes them down or like knocks them away, and like they get stunned a little bit. So like you can kind of like jump kick them. They'll fly backwards. They start walking back towards you. You just jump kick them again. They fly backwards. And like actually the first like 2 bosses, I think I kicked them off the screen, and then I just hugged the side of the screen and just kept pressing the attack button and like killed them when they weren't even on the screen. That did change towards the other bosses, but the first like 1 or 2 I could beat them that way. But then I think at like the later bosses, it was a little more difficult. Like obviously I didn't have any weapons, but I couldn't like stand toe to toe and just spam them like that. I actually had to get a little creative with them, which is like I think the most noticeable one for me when I actually had to like come up with a legit strategy was the what was the Scyther guy's name you called him?
Oh, I think I just called him like Lurpy Scyther or something, or like the Form Scyther. He's super tall and Lurpy. He's like 8 feet tall.
I have a little strategy to beat him because if you went like toe to toe, he would just like he has like a 1-hit combo that just kills you.
That was brutal.
Yeah, he was goofy because he has incredible range. Because like I said, he's just incredibly Lurpy and long, and you kind of can't it's hard to get close to him. That was a tougher one. For him, I would kind of try to maybe get either above or below him, depending on which platform he was on, and try to drop or climb then like right on top of him. So I'm not trying to just approach him normally. I mean, I still got beat back doing that, but it at least got me a few hits in.
So that's the exact strategy I used for a little bit, and then I realized like I would go up and I would force him to jump up after me. Like I would back away from him on the top level till he would get right above. There's actually like 3 metal stairs that lead up, and I would get him above those stairs, and then I would drop down, walk over to them, and if you use like your up jump button, it'll actually grab a hold of the stairs first before he goes to like the final level, and I would get on the second stair so that like just my guy's head was like above the platform, and the guy couldn't hit me, and I could just punch him freely from there.
Oh man, look at this dude finding the pro strats.
Yeah, dude, it works.
I love that.
Bro, my tactic was just put credits in.
Yeah.
Well, it took me a little bit to adopt that strategy, but once I did, I was like, okay, this is it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's impressive, man. That's impressive.
Yeah, I was afraid to get near that guy. We'd have like a standoff. He'd just sit in the same spot, just, you know what I mean, slashing at me. And I'm standing there like, man, what? I got to get in here and hit this guy, but he's not moving. I go in, maybe get a couple cheap shots, but a lot of the time I walk in, he'd just do that one hit combo and just delete me.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I think the. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, him and like the spider guy were both like pretty brutal, I think, for me to fight, because the spider guy also had like he would just like grab a hold of you, and I don't know what he did to you, but like it basically deleted you.
I mean, yeah, that's more or less the direction I was going. I was gonna say that I think Spider-Man Champ Boy was probably the toughest boss for me. So he's this big purple Spider-Man, well, not Spider-Man, but Spider-Man with 4 arms. So that's where I'm getting the whole Machamp, or what's the Mortal Kombat guy, like Goro or whatever? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when I saw this dude. But so at the start of the fight, he's hanging from the ceiling doing his little spider thing, and he'll follow you. He'll try to be right above you, then he'll drop down. He does that 3 times, I believe, and if he catches you on one of those 3 attempts, then yeah, that's an instant kill. He's just gonna take you up there and, as you said, just delete you, just wipe you off the face of the earth. So I was dodge rolling those, and then when he finally came down, I mean, it didn't get much better. I mean, he has a ranged attack, which is awful, but then I feel like he was really good at like stun locking me, because he had these melee attacks that would just hit you a ton of times in a row, and once he got you with it, you were kind of just stuck there. You kind of just had to wait it out. He sucked. I hated that guy.
Did he ever actually grab any of you guys when he was in like spider form from the ceiling?
Just the first time.
I was gonna say, they definitely got me, and it one shot, and I'm pretty sure it turned me in like when I came back at it, because he like grabs you, takes you off the screen, and you don't see him or yourself, and then you just come dropping back down as a skeleton.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's how this is gonna go.
Did he get you guys too, or just me and Kyle?
Oh yeah, I got for sure.
Oh yeah, he got
Got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough, man. That's tough to get like decently far into the game. I think that's the next to last stage. Now you're fighting a boss with an instant kill attack. That's a kick in the balls for sure.
I think my favorite, I mean, it would be classified as a mini boss, but like the robot guy that throws his head at you was right before the spider fight. I thought that was actually pretty cool. You're like fighting the guys. I think there's like a couple of them there. You kill the one, and there's one more. You getting his health down, then he transforms into like this cyborg Terminator looking thing, and he rips his head off and throws it at you. Like that's how he attacks. He can actually like hit his head to block it so it doesn't hit you. But I thought that was a pretty unique fight. Like I said, I feel like even though like you can approach a lot of them, I guess, kind of the same. I mean, to an extent, there's a lot of different attack patterns and different moves they do to you. So for such a simple like beat 'em up, I thought they had a lot of variety in those bosses.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for sure. They were just super hard.
Yeah.
It was hard to just not get wrecked a lot in this game.
Yeah.
I think the Rhino guy was. I don't know why. I fought him the exact same way as everybody else, but I thought he was the easiest one. I think I just had a really easy time timing up my jump kicks, and he hit me, but not that many times.
The one just bull rushes you.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was that bad.
Yeah, he might have been the easiest boss.
What did you guys think about the final boss? I think so. We'll talk about him first. So it's this little. I don't know this like much of the story behind this game. I guess this is maybe just like the mastermind, evil scientist guy behind what I say the the bad guy team was called, something Valley or whatever.
Valley?
Big Valley.
Big Valley,
Big
dude.
Valley. So maybe this is just like the evil scientist guy for them. It's what he looks like. But when he shows up at first, you have like a boss rush right before him. It's like a few of the bosses from previous stages. Then this old dude shows up. He's like 3 feet tall. He's just this little dude. He sees that you killed the boss on the ground and like panics. I think it looks like he's trying to like do CPR to bring him back. And then he just starts charging at you, like wailing his fists at you. But he's just this little dude. He's not doing anything to you. And then he transforms into like big bad Baphomet, evil goat dude, whatever you said his name was. And he gets a little tougher. I don't think it was the hardest final boss in the world, but I mean, certainly tougher than the first form, I'd say.
It's funny how he walks out and he can't even hurt you. You just beat him down until he transforms into that. That was my favorite part.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
I thought that was gonna be like some like Mega Man Dr. Wily thing going on.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Like you beat his last robot, he comes over and is like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He's like begging you and stuff. Nope, he tries to come at you though, and you slap him, and then he transforms.
This the final boss is definitely where I used the dodge roll the most, and it was actually kind of useful because you'd like beat him into one corner, and he would like jump and do that like air dash thing to the other side of the sccreen.
The older
and, like, start
beast.
throwing stuff at you. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
would just dodge roll from side to side.
I definitely got those Altered Beast vibes. That's like the werewolf
Yeah,
thing. Jump up and just
exactly.
fly to the side.
immediately what I thought when he did that.
I think you could duck right underneath of his dash attack too. I think I did that a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad to dodge. Like you said, I don't think it was the hardest, but he definitely got some credits out of me though. It was a little tough to deal with.
All right, well, I mean, let's move on to stages. I mean, let's save the obvious stage that we want to talk about for last, the one that's the reason we're doing it for this episode. But is there any other stages you guys want to talk about? I kind of feel like for the most part, there wasn't anything like crazy unique about all of them. I mean, maybe one of the more interesting parts in this game is the background of these stages where there's like all the graffiti. And I know stage one has like the collapsed tower, the Statue of Liberty, which looks kind of cool in the background. But besides of that, I don't think any of the stages are super crazy. But if there's any you guys want to talk about, feel free, fire away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were too crazy either. Other than, like you said, the Statue of Liberty was a cool touch in the first level. It's like massive in the background. And then it's like, I think stage 5, you're in the subway. And you can kind of see like broken trains with graffiti and stuff on them in the background. Like those two were the only stages I really paid attention to.
Yeah, the graffiti was cool.
The sprite work for the backgrounds was like crazy, like way better than like your character and the enemies and all that stuff. It's all like
Yeah.
the setting and backdrops were like way more detailed than everything else. Looked pretty cool.
Where all their money went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, it looked great back there.
Oh, and I think also stage 4, I'm pretty sure like there's just giant tornadoes in the background. Is that what those
Yeah,
are?
that's what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, it's just like cyclones in the middle of the city. Just typical post-apocalyptic looking
At one point
world.
I seen them and I was like, but it was only like there was like one of them and it was like one, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was some thinner ones and there's like bigger ones. And like the bigger ones obviously looked like tornadoes, but the thinner ones I wasn't sure what it was because it was only one on my screen and I just thought it was like some weird pole in the background that was like glitching out or something. I was like, what is that?
I'm surprised the tornado didn't come over and just says lift and you just pick the tornado up.
Road tornadoes.
Stop.
Just start swinging a tornado.
The one stage I wanted to say was stage 3. It reminded me, it's like the background has like trees and stuff blowing and it's like dark and cloudy. It reminded me of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Like right in the
Yes.
beginning of the game, well, not the beginning, right when you start as Alucard though. And I feel like it looks like that in the background. That's immediately what I thought of. Like the same little setup there.
For some reason it kind of reminded me of Ghosts and Goblins also.
Yeah, it's all in the
Like
same
I
vein,
was
I
picturing
guess.
Arthur in the background doing his thing while I was fighting.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, good luck, dude. I'm going to beat this game way before you beat that game.
Yeah, there were a few stages where you had to fight big vehicles, and those were some of the harder parts in the game to me. I remember there were a few tanks, and the tanks had like 3 separate parts you had to take out, and they were really hard to get close to. And then there were the helicopters, and the helicopters are in 2 parts. They're annoying because they're constantly shooting at you at the same time they're spawning enemies. But then you have to take out like the cab at the bottom of the helicopter that's spawning the enemies and the helicopter itself. And I don't remember exactly what stages those are on. I know there's tanks on the final stage and like a helicopter in stage 3 and maybe like 4 or 5 or something. But those were one of the more annoying parts in the game.
Yeah, at one point, one of the helicopters, it has like I don't know, like a door attached to it, and that chunk falls off, and you break it. And then it was just like the top part of the helicopter bouncing around the screen. You have to hit like a very specific spot in the middle of it. I didn't know that. I kept trying to hit the front of it, the back of it, the propeller. Nothing was doing. I was like, I think my game's glitched. Like I can't even beat this stupid boss. And then I figured out. I eventually just got lucky and kicked. Like I think it's in the middle of it, where it actually damages it, and it's like one real small sweet spot where you have to actually kill it.
I didn't have that problem.
I don't know which one it was. I think it might have been the stage 4 one. You might have just jumped up
Hmm.
and hit it immediately and knew what to do. But yeah, I was like jumping everywhere, kicking everything, and I couldn't kill it. I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna have to restart my playthrough now. This sucks.
Yeah, I definitely miss that too. I was jumping around just trying to punch him, just like, dude, I'm not hurting this thing. What happened?
Yeah, I definitely thought my game glitched out on me.
All right, so do we want to talk about the obvious stage then? The whole reason this is our Christmas episode?
Oh, of course.
So stage 2 is like the apocalyptic winter whatever stage, and first of all, my favorite part is as soon as the stage starts, our dude just starts very poorly singing Jingle Bells to himself. I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
But let's talk about the mini boss for this stage, which is Psycho Santa. So we have a little like foot tall like imp Santa Claus running around and throwing bombs at you, and he was annoying because he was very small, so he was hard to hit, and he was fast, and then he was just chucking those bombs all over the place, and a lot of the times I was just kind of running in circles, just trying to even keep up with the guy.
What other game did we play that had the like a robot Santa? Was that Boogie Wings?
Boogie Wings, yeah, that was our Christmas episode last year.
That's right.
Yeah, I definitely preferred giant purple robot Santa to this little imp Santa.
Yeah, I didn't think this guy was that hard. I kind of abused like the whole hit stun thing on this guy, because you could smack him and he would just like go flying and like lay on the ground. Gave me time to like roll over to him and smack him as soon as he stood up. And he threw bombs that also hurts himself. So if you like pushed him into his own bombs, he'd blow up.
It reminded me of Golden Axe, like the little when you're like camping and there's like the little dwarf guys, the little elf guys that try to like attack you. And you just kick them and it's like fall over and drop your items. That's what he reminded
Yeah.
me
Yeah, little treasure goblins.
of. Yeah.
Did anybody else get spammed with his how?
How?
Or was that just me?
I don't think so.
Oh no, dude! I heard
He
I
would
heard
have, dude.
that
He
a
wouldn't shut
lot.
up when I played it.
Psycho Santa. How?
Speaking of hearing things a lot, though, I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but what a day!
What a day.
What a day.
What a day!
Man.
What a day! What a day!
What a day indeed.
Every time you get hit, it knocks your dude on his butt, and that's all he can say. What a day! It's every time. I don't need to hear it every time.
Dude, that was the cool thing to say, though. What a
Yeah, we
day.
get it, dude. You're having a rough day. Thank you very much for your service, but my God.
He should have been a character in Street Fighter. Every punch,
Yeah.
what a day! What a day! What a day!
Can you imagine him versus Sagat?
Oh man.
Oh man,
What a matchup.
what a match!
Tiger, what a day!
What
Oh,
a match!
no.
What a matchup!
You'd have to mute the arcade, dude. My God, that'd be rough. That and you have the little Santa in the background too.
Oh my God! Just, ho ho ho!
Oh,
Woohoo!
oh my God, that'd be the word. That'd be torture right there. You remember a long time ago, whenever didn't Kyle say something along the lines of like WrestleFest should be used for people who were like in prison or being tortured or something?
Oh my God!
Make that Street Fighter fight of this dude versus Sagat
Uh.
with Santa in the background. I'd feel the same way.
Yeah, what qualifies as a Christmas game is pretty easy around here. So if anyone has any recommendations for holiday Christmas games, let us know, because there's not too many for us to pick from. We're eventually gonna just have to do like
Yeah.
winter stages and deal with that.
I didn't understand how hard it would be to like find a Christmas game. There's like none.
No,
Like they don't exist for some reason.
just has to have either a winter stage or a Santa Claus, and it's the Christmas game, man.
That's all we need.
Yep. All right, boys. Anything else you want to talk about with this game before we kind of move on to some other segments here?
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Yes, sir. So before we throw it to Brad for numbers, I want to bring back another favorite segment of mine and bring back the bad translation minute. So this one isn't quite as bad. We've seen much worse, but it wasn't perfect. So this is after you beat the game. It was like the very last line of the game, and it reads: "Thanks to Crude, New York is saved out of the evil hands of Big Valley. Crude, Born to fight, not always for the crude of justice. They are the men of fighting. Keep going on, too crude, for another combat. The end. I always love me a good, terrible translation, because back in the early 90s, they could not translate anything from Japanese.
Happy you have English letters on the screen. That's as good as it's gonna get.
Yes.
English words and might not always make sense.
Yes, not at all. That one was not nearly as bad, but I thought at least the part there at the end. God, keep going on for another combat. I enjoyed it a little bit. But that's my segment. So, Brad, I'm going to toss it over to you. I want you to hit us with a few numbers, my friend.
All right, we will start off as we always do with our credits. I'm sure everyone beat this game unless Kyle's game froze on him or something. Kyle, did you finish this game?
Yeah, dude.
All right, just making sure. You never know with you. There's always something going on there.
I beat it fisticuff style.
That's right. Well, let's start with you then. How many punches did you have to throw? How many credits did it take you?
23 credits.
23 credits. Melee combat.
No
only?
weapons,
That's
that's
all
fine.
I could do. No weapons.
Sky, what about you?
I'm not super far off. It took me 17.
Okay. That was I did 2 rounds. My first one was 17. My second one was 13. So I
Hey,
got it
nice.
down a little bit. Jordan, that leaves you. Where do you land here today
No.
with us?
Brad, you broke my heart. I thought I had a chance to make it a three-peat.
Oh, man. What'd you get?
I ended
14.
up with 16 credits.
Ooh.
I played it twice. My first run was 16 credits. Played it a second time. I got to like just a little bit before the final boss, and I was at 14. So I was like, you know what? It's not worth it to even try to finish this up. I'm just gonna end up at 16 or 17 again. I was hoping I could play it again today before we recorded, but work just did not allow that. So I'm just gonna have to roll with that first playthrough of 16 credits.
So not bad at all.
So saying I didn't do that bad then if I did one playthrough with no weapons.
Yeah, really.
That's what I said. It's good enough for no weapons.
Come in, start picking stuff up. Things will turn around real quick for you.
Yeah.
Big time.
All right, our rating is going to be out of 2030. That's the year it takes place because I think it was in 2010, and then it said 20 years later is whenever the Too Crude went to business here. So we're rating it out at
Oh no, there goes a trivia
2030.
question.
Well, there goes the rating too, all in one.
We're only gonna have 2 questions today, boys. I didn't have time to prepare a bonus.
That's fine. That's what we're rating out of there, 2030. I went with 1,116. Pretty middling score there. It was okay. It was a decent game. Like I said, I thought the bosses had a pretty decent variety to it. I liked like a little comic kind of theme it had going and all the stuff you can pick up and throw, even though Kyle didn't do any of that. That was one of the best parts of the game. But not a groundbreaking game, but it's pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
I'll cut it right in half there. Give it a 10-15.
10-15. 10-4.
10-4 on that 10-15. I don't know. I'm not super big on beat 'em ups by now. I think everybody knows that. Unless it's something
Yeah.
like super unique, I'm not too fond of it. But like the graphics are awesome. Like the background mainly, the foreground stuff, whatever. The music was really cool though. A lot of those songs reminded me of like some like Sega Genesis Earthworm Jim stuff with like the bass going and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Sounded like real 80s like, which I guess is kind of the point of the game. Well, it was in 2030, but it looks all 80s and stuff, so
It just never progressed.
yeah. And the bosses were unique enough. Like they're not anything, they don't stand out a whole lot, but it was like a pretty middle game.
Kyle, what's your rating on this one?
I'm gonna slap this thing with a 12-20.
Whoa.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought it was. I mean, these games aren't really my style, so I kind of liked it. It was like, it was like 6 stages to it, and then the boss. Like, I hate when these games, like, they drag them out for like so long for no reason. Just keep making you repeat doing the same things over and over. So the fact that it didn't take like that long to get through, the enemies had some variety to them. I thought they were all kind of cool. They repeated some of them now and then, but there was still enough of them that they were a little different. The bosses I thought were kind of cool. Like aside from like the first 1 or 2, because I beat them like when they were off the screen, but like from like the scythe guy on, they were all pretty cool. And I guess because I didn't have a weapon, I actually had to find like some unique ways to fight those guys. And the fact that like I didn't hate this game and I didn't use, like I couldn't pick up anything the whole time, I just think like it's probably better than what I experienced if I could have been using weapons.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. It didn't seem. I didn't hate it here, and like the background stuff on a couple of the stages, which I guess is like half of them because there's only 6 stages, and 3 of them actually were like I actually noticed. The other ones I didn't really notice, but so yeah, I'm gonna slap it with a 12/20.
Man, Kyle's got me thinking I was a little bit too crude with my rating.
I think you were, dude. It's decent. It's not bad for the game that it is. It's also, I think, fairly lenient on like your health bar. Like you can take some damage before you die.
And you get what, like 2 extra lives before you have to use another credit?
Yeah, so it's pretty good in that department.
All right, Jordan, you got your rating whipped up yet?
Think I do. So it's opposite of what Sky said. I am a bit more of a beat 'em up person. I can definitely appreciate a good beat 'em up. I don't think this is a great beat 'em up. It's okay. I do love the aspect of chucking people at their friends. I think that's quite entertaining and enjoyable. But outside of those weapons, like this game could not have been that much fun for Kyle to play because just the melee combat itself is very, very generic, very plain. I mean, the backgrounds looked cool. Thought a lot of the bosses were pretty cool. Overall, it's a beat 'em up. I mean, it is one, that's for sure. It's not the best one you'll ever play, but it's okay. I'm just gonna give it a somewhat solid-ish 12/30 out of 20/30.
We're all in a pretty close range there. Nothing too far out there.
Yeah.
Middling scores on that.
Oh wait, I gotta mention one more thing, so you guys can further understand my pain. Not only did I not pick up or throw anything, but since I didn't remap any buttons, my controller defaulted to my like main punch button was my right bumper.
Oh man.
Ugh.
So I played the whole game mashing
Spamming
right
the
bumper to
bumper.
fight.
That sucks.
Oh no.
You need to replay this game with like a proper control set, and you might even
Yeah.
increase your score some.
Probably. I mean, that's why I gave it a little bit of a heightened score than I probably would have, because I think it would be a little bit better.
Counted for that.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, on to the rankings.
On to the rankings.
This feels like a very middling game to me.
Yeah.
I was looking right at 20.
I was gonna say maybe even lower middling.
Yeah, I literally have my mouse cursor with the list up, and I have it clicked on 20 already, because that's where I was thinking.
What is it, like 20? Oh man.
24.
I keep thinking I'd say this, and I notice the one below it's better. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of around 20. I'm kind of around 24-ish. I like Dead Connection, Boogie Wings, and Metal Slug all a little bit better. I'm roughly around 24-ish.
I don't have a strong opinion on it, but that's roughly what I was thinking, mostly because Metal Slug needs a little respect around here. I can't be putting
Talking
everything
to
above
me.
it.
He's talking to me on that.
It needs
I can-
replayed big time.
I can't see him, but I know he's looking at me.
Yeah, I mean, I could show my respects. I'd be okay with giving it 24.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'll pay my respects to it.
Gotta pay respects, dude.
I might even like Biomechanical Toy a little bit better than this, but I'm not going to push for it to go
You're not
down
getting
any
that much
further.
respect out of me.
Not
No,
that
no,
much.
that's fine. I don't.
You're
like
asking
it.
for
I don't
so
like-
much respect, it's kind of disrespectful now.
Yeah, dude.
I don't like BioToy that much more than it. I don't care
you
about that.
disrespect my respect.
Damn, dude. I'm so sorry.
So much respect, it looped right back around to being disrespect.
That's crazy.
That's right. Where you're at, Sky, you don't think it goes any lower than that? You put it above Toy?
I could do that. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It's fine with me.
Okay, well, let's just make it nice and simple then. We got Metal Slug at 23, 2 Crude at 24, Biomechanical Toy at 25. Now, Jordan, let's see what trivia you made up for us on the fly here.
I did manage to whip up a third question last minute.
All
I
right,
don't know why.
let's do it.
I don't know why I never thought of it before, but I think it's an okay one. So whatever. So let's hop on into trivia. Sky, you're leading the way at 58 points. Brad, you have 47. Kyle, you have 43. Kyle, I really think you're closing this gap a bit, man. I think you can hop up into second place if you play your cards right here in the next few episodes.
Yeah, I've been
See.
studying.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
That's good, man. I'm glad. Thank you for staying awake and paying attention to class. So let's start with question number 1, and this is the one that I did whip up just last second here because that's where my 2030 question was. So during the intro scene of the game, whenever it's telling you the background story and whatnot, what is written on the stone that the Big Valley enemies are posing beside? A, Big Valley. B, We Want You. Or C, Dead End.
I feel like Big Valley's too obvious.
Might be, but that's what Jordan likes to do. He likes to give us an
I
obvious
know,
one.
he throws you an oddball like that.
I'm going with We Want You.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning
That
towards.
stuck out to me for some reason when you said it, so I'm just gonna go with that.
Okay.
Now, I was going to say that, but now I don't want to go with the group. I want to carve my own path, and I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my path leads to a dead end.
Oh,
It's a C dead end.
Yeah.
All right, well, Kyle, I'm glad that you carved your own path because the
Whoa.
answer is C dead end.
Let's
Bro.
go, dude.
With that.
I told you I studied.
I did see the "We Want You" just kind of in the middle of one of the stages randomly, so that's why I threw that one in there. And as you said, Big Valley was kind of just on the nose. So, but yeah, answer is C, dead end. Go into question number 2. When this game was ported to Sega Mega Drive and Genesis, what were the American and European versions renamed to? A, Two Crude Dudes, B, Dudes with Attitudes, or C, The Crude Dudes?
I'm gonna say A.
Two Crude Dudes. Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm gonna go sticking with Sky here. I'm going A.
Okay. Kyle, you carving your own path, or are you going to listen to your brothers?
Ooh, better sharpen that blade if you're carving.
Oh god. I'm gonna follow my brothers.
Go with A, Two Crude Dudes.
Sure.
Well, Kyle, you're doing a great job at making the right decision here, man, because the answer is A, Two Crude Dudes. I love that you actually were all about, like, yeah, I don't want to be like them. I'm going to pick a different answer. And then the second time, you're like, no, I'm going to be like them and pick the same. And you were right both times.
I'm gonna take this path. You guys go ahead. Hey, wait for me. He just goes running behind. Wait.
It
was
worked out
joking.
for him, man. Can't hate. Anyway, let's wrap it up with question number 3. In the Japanese version of the game, the Power Cola machine that we see in between stages had what brand name on it? A, Coca-Cola, B, Budweiser, or C, Pepsi?
I'm gonna lead this one, and I'm going C Pepsi.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Budweiser.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Pepsi as well.
All right. Kyle, I kind of wish you would have just followed behind again because you were wrong. The answer is B,
Dang it.
Budweiser.
Oh.
That's the one I definitely thought it wasn't gonna be.
Yeah, same here. I never would have picked that one.
Japan loves putting like alcohol in their video games that whenever they come to America, it gets changed to like soda or milk or something.
I just don't imagine this guy slamming a Pepsi or a Coke and then lifting a car up. It has to be Budweiser.
I definitely see this dude
Yes.
slamming Budweisers and ripping cigs in between fights.
He's like a Duke Nukem like ripoff or something.
Absolutely.
I didn't know if it was gonna come up, but this game was also known as Crude Buster. So I just want to throw that out there.
I was going to redo the first question to that. What was the original Japanese name? Crude Buster. But then I thought, first of all, maybe that you guys would have already seen that.
Yeah,
And
seen
also,
that
I
one
couldn't
around.
I couldn't come up with 2 other names that were like that. I feel like the other names I came up with, they would have been obvious that it was Crude Buster because the other 2 were just generic.
Had to think too hard on that one too quick.
Yeah, then I thankfully thought of something a little better.
I like how these guys don't even like have proper names. They're just called Too Crude.
Yeah, dude, that I googled that. I was like, what are the names of the characters in the game so I could do that? And I just found nothing. They're just too crude.
Oh man, I saw their name somewhere. I forget what it was though.
Did you?
Yeah, I can't remember what it
So
was.
they do
now.
have names.
Really?
It was somewhere. Yeah. Wish
Why
I
is
could
it so
pull
hard
up.
to find that?
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what I was on. Maybe I looked under one of the other like Crude Buster instead of Too Crude.
So, hey man, who are you? We're Too Crude. No, I mean like you specifically. Oh, me? I'm Too Crude. Then who's that guy? That's Too Crude. I mean, like, who are you guys individually? Yeah, we're Too Crude.
All right, here's what I found. According to the Crude Buster Data East Wicca, it says their names are Ruth and Sid.
Ruth?
Wow. Where
Ruth,
do you even find that in
RUTH.
the game?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where those came from or if that's legit, but I mean, they have their own page, so you can go and you can look up Ruth, you can look up Sid. They have their own Wikipedia page.
I'll get right on that.
That's probably why they
Very
say Too
short.
Crude. He doesn't want to say his name's Ruth.
Yeah.
He's like, hi, I'm Sid. Oh, he has a name to you? No, I'm still Too Crude.
I'm too good.
I'd imagine it's supposed to be short for ruthless, you know. You can call me
Oh,
Ruth.
Oh my
Big
god.
Ruth.
What is Sid short for?
It's the kid from Toy Story.
I mean,
He
Sid,
grew up and
sure,
saved the
but-
world, man. He changed his
Yeah.
life around. Good on him.
Wait, that's what it's short for? So his real name is the kid from Toy Story?
Yeah,
Sid the
that's
kid
a
from
short
Toy
But
Story?
you can call me Sid for short.
Is that his government name? Is it on his license?
Yeah.
Sid the kid from Toy Story?
right. Just call me Sid, though.
All right, boys, let's wrap this trivia up. Sky, you're the first one to break 60 points. You're at 60 even.
Woo.
Brad, you're at 48. Kyle inching just ever so closer with 45. So that will wrap up trivia. So with that being said, boys, this is your last chance if you want to say anything else about Too Crude, about Ruthless, about Sid the Kid from Toy Story, about Fabio Werewolf, Jake the Snake, whatever. This is your chance here. What you got? Anything for me?
Nah, get him out of here.
I'm over it, dude. Merry Christmas.
What a game.
Oh my god, what a day.
What a game. Jordan, sign us off.
What a game we have next
Dude.
time on Arcadiology when we have Dynagear. Follow us on all social media at Arcadiology. Email us questions at arcadiologyquestions@gmail.com or use the link in the podcast bio. Join the free Discord. I don't check Discord a whole lot, but like I want to start actually checking Discord. I know I responded to a few people the other day who were a little upset about our Street Fighter episode. To be fair, we did preface it at the beginning that we are not fighting game experts by any means, so I hope that gives us a little bit of a forgiveness. But yes, I apologize to all big Street Fighter fans out there that we didn't know what we were really doing. It's a game I loved from my childhood, and as a kid, I couldn't learn button combinations, so we did the best we could. But I do want to check out the Discord some more, so hopefully we can get that bumping and talk to some new people here. And last but not least, we'd appreciate it if you left us a 5-star review. I would love to read one on the air, so hop on in there and do that. Now say goodbye, boys.
What a day.
Goodbye.
Later, dudes.
Insert that closing line here, and goodbye.